Hello, everyone, and welcome to Booming Encore's Learning Bites. My name is Susan Williams, and I'm the founder of Booming Encore. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Martin Hyde, Associate Professor of Gerontology at Swansea University. And today, we're actually talking about quality of life when aging. Now, we all know that aging is a natural part of life. However, how people age and the quality of life that they experience while aging can be quite different for each person. So to better understand quality of life at an older age, Martin led a research team at Swansea University to develop an assessment tool and scale, which they called CASP19, CASP-19. And what they found is when this assessment tool was used, they discovered that those that had a lower range assessment score actually had what was viewed as a poor quality of life than those that actually had a higher end of the scale. So Martin is joining me today to share more about this assessment tool and how we could possibly use this tool to help us all age more positively. Welcome, Martin.
Welcome, and thank you very much for having me.
Delighted. So why don't we just get started? Can you tell me why this tool was actually developed in the first place? Like what motivated you?
So we were trying to develop a tool that captured some of the more positive aspects of aging, as well as being able to reflect some of the more negative aspects. So as you said, as people age, some people have a tendency to age better, some people have a tendency to experience worse outcomes as they age. And we were running a project that had some very long data, so going back to 1930s. And we wanted to see if the life courses that people had led them to have better or worse quality of life in their early 60s. We looked around. How did
you actually go about developing it? Like what were the tools or mechanisms that you actually used that contributed to the actual questions?
Yeah, so initially we reviewed the existing studies and found that they didn't really allow us to capture these dimensions. So we went back to the drawing board and we looked firstly at other theories. So we drew on Maslow's idea of the hierarchy of needs. And from that we looked at control and autonomy, so your ability to do what you want and to have the freedom as well from others. And then we also drew on some of the more modern sociological ideas and the positive psychology movement to look at things like pleasure and self-realization. We got a group of questions that we developed, and then we tested them with our peers. So we asked others in the academic community whether they thought they were good, and reassuringly people thought it was a positive development. Then I actually went out and did some interviews with older people, ran some focus groups around the country and get their input as well about the question. So I think we actually started with around about 30 questions, and through that process got down to these 19, which people felt really captured this notion of quality of life.
So there was quite a rigorous process around this then?
Yeah, absolutely. And then when we actually got the data, the first wave of data, we did some additional analyses. And I think we even dropped a couple more questions from that stage as well to really refine it statistically. So we tried to kind of get it from people's perspective, but also so it was kind of statistically robust as well.
Now, after someone actually completes this assessment, is there like a positive or negative range within the scale, would you say, or something to be aware of?
Yeah, so the scale, you get a score from 0, which like you said, represents the complete absence of quality of life. I think luckily, nobody in the studies that I've looked at ever scores that. And then you can get the highest score of 57. So each question you score from 0, never, through to 4, which is often. And people get ranked along that scale. We don't have a cutoff point exactly where we say this is good or bad quality of life because it can vary. We tend to say if you're above the average, which is around about 40, low 40s, mid 40s, then you're doing better. Obviously, you can always find areas to improve. If you're getting less than the median, the average, it doesn't mean you've got poor quality of life necessarily, but it does mean that there might be an opportunity for you to look at what's going on in your life and kind of ask whether you're able to do the things you want to do, whether you are doing the things that you want to do, and see if there's any areas that you sort of want to improve on.
So are there some general themes here? I know maybe you can explain what the CASP kind of stands for and sort of help people understand sort of the general themes that they might actually find out about themselves.
Yeah, so you can get an overall score, so how good your global quality of life is. But as you said, the scale's made up of these 4 parts: C, control; A, autonomy; S, self-realization; and P, pleasure. So as well as an overall score, you can actually drill down to look at sort of what we call the subdomains. So it might be that you kind of actually have quite a lot of pleasure in your life. You're enjoying quite a lot of things, but those things that you enjoy are constrained. So you don't have the control necessarily over other parts of your life. Or it might be that you feel that you are able to do what you want, but that you don't necessarily derive a great deal of pleasure, or that you don't necessarily feel that you're able to do all the things that you want to do in terms of realizing your own identity and goals.
Now, does this actually shine a light on like future aging opportunities and things like that as well?
Yeah, so I was going to say that then there are a number of individual items that you could even look at as well. So there was a question about whether your life has meaning. And we've just seen, there's a number of studies that have come out this year showing that a sense of purpose is one of the big drivers for kind of health, longevity, social activities. There's another question about, again, I feel that my life is full of opportunities. So again, whether you feel that there's things in the future for you to be able to do. And I think some of that as well connects with a renewed interest in notions around generativity. So giving back. So the idea that you can kind of give back to future generations or to your community could be as well connected with improved quality of life. I think that's something as well just to touch on, that even though the scale I think can be read in an individual score, a lot of what gives us quality of life comes from communities and things around us. So the studies that have shown, that have used the scale, that social networks, getting involved in community activities, taking up new courses, all this leads to improvements in quality of life.
Terrific. Okay, so this sounds like a great tool for somebody, who's looking forward to aging and in some areas that they may want to actually take a look at and better understand and possibly take some actions to actually address. So for those of you out there, if you're interested in learning more about the CASP19 assessment, you can actually visit the website, www.casp19.com. And as well, we'll also be offering a link and a copy of the assessment on our website. So thank you so much, Martin. I really appreciate your time today. And thank you also for your continued research in the world of aging. It's so critically important, especially as we all start heading towards this. And for everybody out there, I hope you found this information very helpful and hope that you are all living your best booming encore. Thanks, everyone.